Welcome out there in the electronic ether. This is Reverend Z. I am coming to you today with the second edition of the web series that I'm doing on this channel, Is It Christian? The first one managed to garner one whole comment, which was so profane that I had to delete it. And since that was the only action that I've had on this channel thus far, I figured, well, why don't I do another one? And also this week I am, or I should say last week, I preached a sermon on a verse that perfectly fits into this subject. And so I thought, well, I should do an Is It Christian on this. And if you did not read the title, what we are debating today, or not debating, what I am talking about today is the wall along the Mexican border. There are a lot of good reasons not to build a wall along the Mexican border. For instance, the Rio Grande River. Very hard to build a wall in water. And forget about there are a ton of lies about it. For instance, drugs are flooding across the border. And yes, drugs are flooding across the border in trucks at points of entry. So the Border Patrol agents that we're not paying to get the wall are the ones that don't have the ability to see through trucks, and the stuff gets across that way. There's also the greater question of the people that are coming across. And that's the thing which the wall has come to symbolize, is it wants to keep people from coming across. And the reality is every objective statistic on the subject states that refugees, illegal aliens, naturalized citizens, legal immigrants, anyone that is coming to the United States, across the boards, does far less crime by not 1 or 2%, but by many percent, than native-born Americans. So in theory, if we wish to reduce the crime rate by controlling the citizenry of this country, we would throw out all of the Americans that are currently here and only let in people from Mexico. Which is ridiculous. But I would like to mention what the scripture says about this. And that brings me to the 19th chapter of Leviticus. And this is the 19th chapter of Leviticus. I apologize. The 19th chapter of Leviticus, the 33rd and 31st verses. When an alien lives with you in your land, do not mistreat him. The alien living with you must be treated as one of your native born. Love him as yourself. For you are aliens in Egypt. I am the Lord your God. There's nothing ambiguous about that. Absolutely nothing ambiguous about that. If someone comes to this country and says, let me in, if you're going to go solely based on the scripture, we need to let them in. And that, of course, takes us to other verses. For instance, people say, well, they're poor, they're not going to help out, they're this, they're that. Which, number one, it does, once again, statistics and the reality of the situation suggests that even the poor people coming over the border want to work very hard and are an asset to the economy of a nation and the citizenry of a nation. So the whole thing about they're going to steal jobs from us and this and that's all baloney too. The thing that's stealing jobs from us is automation. So go after the robots, coal miners. That's who's taking your job, is automation and the fact that people don't want to use coal. Or if you're working in any factory and there are fewer jobs there, it is because there are more robots. So go after R2-D2. But you go on to verses like Matthew 25, verse 35. For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. The bottom line is, a Christian, if we see this giant caravan of poor people coming to eat our food, we as good Christian, God-fearing Americans should be standing at the border with a big basket of food. We should be standing there saying, please, come in. I have a spare bedroom. Stay with me. That's what we should be saying if we were actually Christians. And the idea that we should not be allowing these folks in is indefensible from a Christian standpoint. It simply is. There is nothing that says that we should be keeping out people. And in addition to that, when we are keeping out people from Mexico, we are keeping out other Christians. Let me see here. I've pulled up a whole bunch of verses here. The Lord is Psalms 9, chapter 9, verse 9. The Lord will be a stronghold for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble. Are there not times of trouble in Mexico and Honduras right now? Once again, we're Christians. We should be welcoming those folks in. In theory, we should be helping them. We should be offering aid to those countries rather than threatening them and demanding money for a wall. But once again, I could go all day. Isaiah 25, verse 4. For you have been a defense for the helpless, a defense for the needy in his distress, a refuge from the storm, a shade in the heat. For the breath of the ruthless is like a rainstorm against a wall. I mean, come on. There's just... It seems like a good quarter of the Bible is saying, welcome in the stranger. Be nice to the person that is not you. And we're deciding to be mean to people that are very much like us. Sure, they speak Spanish, but they're Christian. They have the same values as us. And we're supposed to be doing this for the stranger. We're supposed to be saying to those folks who are displaced in Syria, we should be sending boats over there and bringing those people in and giving them help and aid and refuge. But frankly, we're not. And this is one of the greatest hypocrisies that is currently plaguing the United States right now, is we are pretending that we are defending our Christian values by being mean to people that are weak. I can't think of anything that is... I think I'm having a hard time of thinking of things that are more hypocritical to being a Christian than hurting the weak. And in some cases, we've killed a couple of kids. We don't know how many people are waiting on the other side of the wall that are subject of horrible, terrible things, or get murdered, or get whatever, or die from hunger. We don't know. We can't know. But the bottom line is we shouldn't have to know. We should have welcomed those people in. So the bottom line is the wall is not Christian. I apologize for rambling on a bit about this. Please look forward to the sermon that I have on the 19th chapter of Leviticus, these two verses. And I thank you for tuning in. I ask you to please keep me and this ministry in your prayers. There's Patreon stuff in the comments below. If you have anything you'd like to pray about, please email me at reverendz@yahoo.com. Yeah, that's it. Or comment in the comments. But be aware that if you are being rude, I'm going to erase your comment because, well, this is a Christian place. This is a place of love. And white supremacists have a place to put their comments. I thank you very much, and have a good day.